If you don't control your mindset, when life gets hard, life will control it for you. This video is for anyone who's tired of breaking down every time life gets messy. Maybe you've been through stress, heartbreak, failure, rejection, or just feel mentally exhausted. Maybe your thoughts keep running in circles and you don't know how to pull yourself together anymore. It's not that you're weak. It's that nobody taught you how to lead your mind when everything around you falls apart. You're not here for surface-level advice. You want real tools that actually help. You want to know how to stay steady, how to respond without breaking down, how to think clearly when life feels heavy. In this video, I'll show you how to train and protect your mindset in real-life struggles using calm, honest, and powerful steps you can actually use. If you're ready to stop feeling stuck and start thinking stronger, this is the one you need to hear. Stay with me. Chapter 1. Control your thoughts when life hits hard. When life hits hard, the first place it hits is the mind before it touches your bank account. Before it affects your body, before it shows up in your relationships, it shows up in your thinking. I have watched this for decades. Two people can face the same pressure and walk away with completely different outcomes. One grows stronger and calmer. The other becomes bitter, tired, and lost. The difference is not luck. The difference is control over thought. Most people believe they cannot control what they think when things go wrong. They say stress takes over. They say emotions take charge. They say the mind runs on its own. That belief alone keeps them stuck. The truth is this: you may not control what happens to you, but you always control what you hold in your mind. That control decides the quality of your life. Especially on hard days. When something goes wrong, the mind reacts fast. It looks for danger. It replays mistakes. It jumps to fear. This is natural, but what is natural is not always helpful. If you do not step in, your mind will choose worry over clarity and panic over reason. Control starts when you slow that process down. Hard moments are loud. Bills make noise. Disappointment makes noise. Fear makes noise. If you allow all that noise to fill your head, you will lose focus fast. The first discipline is to reduce what you allow into your mind. Stop feeding the stress with constant negative input. Stop replaying worst-case thoughts. Stop telling yourself the same painful story again and again. The mind believes what it hears most often, especially when emotions are high. You must decide what thoughts earn your attention. Attention is power. Whatever holds your attention controls your emotions and your actions. When life hits hard, your attention must move away from panic and toward response. Ask better questions. What can be handled today? What needs patience? What is outside control? These questions calm the nervous system and bring the mind back into balance. Control also means refusing to exaggerate reality. Hard does not mean hopeless. Pain does not mean permanent. A setback does not define the rest of your life. The mind has a habit of turning one bad moment into a future disaster. That habit must be challenged. Speak facts, not fear. Speak what is real, not what feels overwhelming. Feelings change, facts remain. When pressure rises, self-talk becomes critical. Many people talk to themselves in ways they would never speak to another person. They insult themselves. They blame themselves for everything. They replay old failures. This weakens the mind during moments when strength is needed most. Control your thoughts by correcting your inner language. Speak with firmness and respect. Not soft, not harsh, but steady and honest. There is a difference between acknowledging pain and surrendering to it. Acknowledge what hurts. Admit disappointment. But do not let it become the main voice in your head. Pain should inform you, not command you. When pain commands the mind, decisions suffer and energy drops. The strongest minds are not free from stress. They are trained to respond to it. Training begins long before the crisis. Daily habits shape mental strength. Reading useful material, reflecting quietly, writing thoughts down instead of letting them spin. These habits build a stable inner environment. So when life hits hard, the mind does not collapse. Another key is understanding that emotions follow thoughts. Change the thought and the emotion will adjust, not instantly but reliably. If you think chaos, you will feel chaos. If you think clarity, you will feel steadier. This is not positive thinking. This is responsible thinking. Responsible thinking asks what leads to progress, not comfort. There will be moments when you feel tired, mentally exhausted, and discouraged. In those moments, control means choosing not to quit mentally. You may rest, but you do not abandon your standards. You may slow down, but you do not give up your direction. The mind respects consistency. When you show up, even tired, you teach your mind that difficulty does not stop you. Hard times often bring unfairness. People feel betrayed, overlooked, or judged. If you allow resentment to live in your mind, it will drain energy daily. Resentment feels justified, but it costs too much. Control your thoughts by releasing what poisons your focus. You do not need approval to move forward. You need clarity and discipline. Perspective matters greatly. Step back mentally. Look at the long view. A bad month does not erase years of effort. A mistake does not cancel potential. When life hits hard, the mind narrows. You must widen it again. Remind yourself of progress already made. Strength grows from remembering what you have handled before. Responsibility is empowering. Blame weakens. When you blame circumstances or people, you give away control. When you accept responsibility for your response, you regain control. This does not mean fault. It means ownership. Ownership restores confidence and direction. Silence is valuable during hard times. Noise increases confusion. Take moments of quiet. Breathe slowly. Allow the body to settle so the mind can think clearly. Calm is a skill. It improves with practice. Calm allows better decisions. Better decisions lead to better outcomes even in tough situations. Hard days test character. They reveal habits of thought built over time. This is why mindset work cannot wait until crisis arrives. The work is daily small corrections, honest reflection, clear priorities. Over time, the mind becomes more disciplined, more resilient, more focused. You will not always feel strong. Strength is not a feeling. It is a choice repeated. Choose thoughts that serve your future, not your fear. Choose patience over panic. Choose effort over excuse. These choices shape identity. When life hits hard, the question is not why this happened. The better question is how will I think now? That question puts power back where it belongs. In your hands, in your mind. Control your thoughts and you control your direction. Control your direction and your life begins to change even before circumstances do. This is not theory. This is lived truth. Every major improvement in life begins with improved thinking under pressure. Discipline the mind and you create stability. Stability creates momentum. Momentum creates results. Results restore belief. Hard times will come. That is guaranteed. But losing control of your mindset is optional. Train it. Guard it. Respect it. Your future depends on it. Chapter 2. Stay mentally strong during difficult days. Some days do not break you all at once. They wear you down slowly. You wake up already tired. Your body moves, but your energy feels low. Small problems feel heavier than they should. These are the days when mental strength matters most. Not the dramatic crisis days but the ordinary difficult ones. Staying mentally strong during these days is a skill and skills can be built. Mental strength is not about pretending everything is fine. It is about staying steady when things are not fine. It is about continuing to think clearly even when motivation feels weak. Many people wait to feel strong before they act. Strong people act first and strength follows. Difficult days test whether you lead your mind or your mood leads you. The first truth to accept is that difficult days are normal. They are not a sign that something is wrong with you. They are part of being human. Expecting life to always feel smooth creates frustration. When you accept that some days will feel heavy, You stop wasting energy resisting reality. Acceptance does not remove difficulty, but it reduces inner conflict. Mental strength begins in the morning. How you start the day shapes how you handle pressure later. If you rush immediately into stress, your mind stays reactive. Take a moment to slow down. Breathe deeply. Sit quietly even for a short time. This signals safety to your nervous system. A calm start builds a buffer against stress. On hard days, the mind looks for escape. Distraction becomes tempting. Complaining feels easy. Avoiding responsibility feels comforting for a moment. These reactions weaken mental strength. Strength grows when you choose discipline over comfort. Do what needs to be done. Even if enthusiasm is missing, action creates momentum. Momentum creates energy. Your thoughts during the day need direction. Without direction, the mind drifts toward worry and self-doubt. Give your mind something useful to work on. Focus on tasks that are within reach. Break the day into small actions. Completing small tasks builds confidence and restores a sense of control. Be careful with comparison during difficult days. When energy is low, comparison becomes harsh. You judge your progress against others and feel behind. This drains motivation further. Everyone has unseen struggles. Measure your day by effort, not by outcome. Showing up counts even when results feel small. Mental strength also comes from how you speak internally when things feel slow or frustrating. Avoid harsh self-judgment. Criticism does not create strength. It creates tension. Speak firmly but fairly. Acknowledge effort. Correct mistakes without attacking yourself. Respect builds resilience. Physical care supports mental strength. Lack of sleep, poor food and dehydration increase emotional sensitivity. On difficult days, basics matter more. Drink water. Eat simply. Move your body even briefly. A short walk can reset your mind. Physical stability supports emotional balance. Hard days often bring irritability. Small annoyances trigger strong reactions. Recognize this early. When you feel irritation, rising pause before responding, delay reactions. A pause protects relationships and preserves self-respect. Strong people do not say everything they feel in the moment. Another part of staying mentally strong is protecting your environment. Reduce exposure to negativity. Limit news and social media when you feel overwhelmed. Choose music or silence that calms rather than excites. Your environment influences your thoughts whether you notice it or not. Purpose anchors the mind during difficult days. Remind yourself why your effort matters. Think beyond today. Short-term discomfort becomes manageable when connected to long-term meaning. Purpose gives pain, context, and direction. You may feel unproductive on hard days. That feeling can lead to quitting mentally. Redefine productivity. Some days productivity means endurance. Staying consistent matters more than doing everything perfectly. Persistence builds strength even when progress feels invisible. Mental strength grows when you keep promises to yourself. Small promises. Finish a task. Keep a routine. Show up when you said you would. Each kept promise builds trust with yourself. Trust strengthens confidence. Allow yourself rest without guilt. Rest is not weakness. It is maintenance. Mental strength includes knowing when to recharge. Rest intentionally, then return with focus. Avoid guilt-driven restlessness. Difficult days often highlight unresolved emotions. Sadness, frustration, disappointment may surface. Do not suppress them. Notice them calmly. Name them privately. Writing thoughts down helps organize emotion and release pressure. Awareness prevents emotional buildup. Gratitude helps stabilize the mind during tough days. Not forced positivity, but simple acknowledgement. One good thing, one small relief, one supportive person. Gratitude shifts attention without denying difficulty. It balances perspective. Mental strength includes patience. Not everything improves quickly. Progress may feel slow. Stay committed anyway. Consistency matters more than speed. The mind learns endurance through repetition. Avoid making big decisions on difficult days. If possible, emotional fatigue clouds judgment. Focus on maintenance rather than major change. Protect your future decisions by waiting until clarity returns. Encourage yourself the way a steady mentor would. Calm voice, clear direction, no drama, no exaggeration, simple reminders. You have handled hard days before. You can handle this one, too. Mental strength is built quietly. No applause, no recognition, just steady effort. Over time, these efforts compound. You become calmer under pressure, more stable during stress, more confident during uncertainty. Difficult days do not define you. How you handle them shapes you. Strength is not loud, it is steady. Stay present, stay disciplined, stay kind to yourself. This is how mental strength grows day by day. Chapter 3. Manage your mindset. When things fall apart, the mind is the first to feel it. Everything around you may still look the same, but inside your thoughts start to shift. Doubt enters. Fear grows louder. Certainty disappears. It's not always a big event. Sometimes it's several small things breaking down over time. You feel the pressure build. Plans go off track. People let you down. Nothing seems to work. And in the middle of that, your mindset is tested more than ever. This is the moment where most people lose control of their inner world. They start reacting to everything. They get stuck in what went wrong. They replay the failure. They focus only on what's missing. They wait for something outside to fix how they feel inside. But nothing changes until you decide to manage your mindset. Managing your mindset doesn't mean ignoring the pain. It doesn't mean pretending you're okay when you're not. It means you stop feeding the breakdown. You stop adding extra weight to something that already feels heavy. It means you guide your thinking towards something helpful instead of something that drains you even more. The first thing to understand is that chaos in life doesn't have to become chaos in the mind. Everything can be uncertain on the outside, but you still have the power to create order on the inside. That's not easy, but it's possible. And it starts with calming your thoughts, not rushing to fix everything all at once. Breathe. Slow down your reactions. Give your mind space to process what's going on. When things fall apart, your brain wants to speed up. It wants to solve every problem instantly. It jumps from one thought to another, creating a storm of worry and confusion. That's when you pause. You take control by taking a step back, one deep breath at a time. You're not weak for slowing down. You're smart for regaining your clarity. Once you slow down, your next job is to stop telling yourself that everything is ruined. That story, that phrase, everything is falling apart, makes your situation feel worse than it is. Maybe some things are breaking. Maybe some things are gone. But rarely is everything gone. You have to train your mind to look for what's still in your hand. You can lose a job and still have your skills. You can lose a relationship and still have your values. You can lose control over events and still have full control over your response. It's easy to focus on what you lost. But if you only stare at the loss, you'll never see what's left. And what's left is the starting point. Even in the middle of pain, there is something you can build from. That's what managing your mindset is about. Reminding your mindset is about reminding yourself that you're not finished just because something ended. You also have to take responsibility for your mental space. When life breaks down, it's tempting to blame everything, the people, the timing, the luck, the circumstances. And maybe some of that blame is even true. But staying there doesn't help you move. Blame keeps you frozen. Responsibility moves you forward. You can't control what happened, but you can control how you think about it. That one decision to take responsibility for your mindset changes everything. Start by deciding what kind of thoughts deserve to stay. Not every thought needs your attention. Just because it enters your head doesn't mean it gets to live there. Thoughts that make you feel weak, ashamed, hopeless, they don't get to stay. You notice them, but you don't feed them. You don't argue with them. You replace them. You guide your attention toward thoughts that give you strength. What can I learn from this? What's one step I can take today? Who can I talk to? What have I already survived? These are questions that bring you back to a place of power. When you ask better questions, your mind gives you better answers. This is how you manage your thoughts during the worst days. And you have to be careful about what you expose yourself to during this time. When things fall apart, you're mentally vulnerable. That's not weakness. That's just how emotions work. And when you're vulnerable, your environment matters more. Negative voices, constant noise, empty distractions, they make it harder to think clearly. You have to protect your mental space like it matters because it does. Turn off what weakens you. Spend more time with people who speak with honesty and calm. Limit your exposure to anything that increases your stress without giving you solutions. And be honest about how you feel, but don't drown in it. Allow the sadness, feel the frustration, admit the fear, but then come back to your direction. You don't heal by avoiding your emotions, but you also don't heal by surrendering to them. Balance is everything. Some people fall apart with their circumstances because they never step out of the emotional loop. They wait for a good day to feel better. But you don't have to wait. You can start by changing the way you respond even while things are still difficult. Another thing to remember, you don't need all the answers to move forward. Most people get stuck because they think they have to solve everything before they can start again. But that keeps them in place. You only need enough clarity for the next step. That's it. One step, then another, then another. Life rebuilds in pieces and your mindset becomes stronger every time you take a small action, even while you're still hurting. Write down your thought. Create structure for your day. Speak kindly to yourself even if no one else does. Do something productive, no matter how small. These actions rewire your brain to see possibility instead of defeat. And once you begin to think that something is possible, your energy shifts. It's okay to not feel okay. But it's not okay to let that feeling define you. You are not your worst day. You are not your biggest failure. You are the one deciding what happens next. That's what mindset control really is. Choosing your direction when everything feels directionless. You won't always feel motivated. But motivation is not the foundation of a strong mind. Discipline doesn't wait to feel ready. It shows up because it's needed. On days when life feels broken, your mindset becomes your most valuable tool. Protect it. Strengthen it. Use it. It's not about being positive all the time. It's about staying steady when life feels shaky. It's about responding with strength when everything around you feels unstable. That's the work. That's the power. And that's how you build a mindset that stays strong even when everything else falls apart. Chapter 4. Hold your focus when life feels unfair. There are times when life does not treat you fairly and you know it. You worked hard, but the reward went to someone else. You told the truth, but people believed the lie. You gave your best, but still got overlooked. And while you're standing there trying to understand how this happened, your focus starts to break. Your energy leaks into frustration. Your time gets consumed by anger. Your peace gets replaced by thoughts you didn't ask for. This is when you need mental discipline more than ever. This is when you learn how to hold your focus even when life feels completely unfair. Focus is not just about attention. It's about keeping your mind centered on what helps you grow. When life feels unfair, your first instinct is to prove something. You want justice. You want explanations. You want answers that never come. The more you chase those things, the more you disconnect from your direction. You start investing energy into things you cannot fix. And slowly you lose track of what matters most. You need to remind yourself the unfair moment already happened. You don't need to relive it all day. What you need now is focus. Real intentional focus. Not fake positivity. Not forced smiles, but deep focus that keeps your mind on your values, your path, your standards. It starts by recognizing the truth about life. Fairness is not guaranteed. Life doesn't hand out results based on effort alone. That doesn't mean you stop trying. It means you learn to manage your mindset when outcomes don't match your effort. That's where maturity begins. That's where strength is built. You can't control everything around you, but you always control what gets your attention. What you focus on becomes your direction. Holding your focus means protecting it. That means being careful where you place your thoughts. When life feels unfair, your mind will try to pull you into arguments, into resentment, into memories of what should have happened. Don't follow it. Train your mind like you train a muscle. Bring it back to the task, back to your plan, back to your goals. When unfair things happen, they create noise. That noise enters your thoughts and tries to dominate your day. The thoughts repeat. Why did this happen? Why not me? This isn't right. You need to catch those thoughts before they take over. You can't let a temporary injustice steal your future focus. You do this by deciding where your energy belongs. It belongs in growth. It belongs in action. It belongs in your next decision. Yes, life was unfair. Now, what are you going to do with that? Are you going to stop building your future because someone didn't recognize your effort? Or are you going to hold your focus so tightly that no setback can shake you? People who succeed in the long run don't avoid unfairness. They outlast it. They outwork it. They outgrow it. They rise above the emotion. Not by avoiding it, but by refusing to get trapped in it. They process the pain, but they don't feed it. They feel the anger, but they don't live in it. They take the hit, but they don't let it define their next move. You hold your focus by giving your day structure. Unfair moments create emotional chaos. Structure brings your mind back to order. Make a short list. Follow your routine. Do the next right thing even when you don't feel like it. Routine is not boring. It's your anchor when the world feels unstable. Remind yourself of what you stand for when someone wrongs you or life deals you a bad hand. It's tempting to lower your standards, but your mindset is not controlled by what they did. It's shaped by what you choose to become. Keep your integrity. Keep your work ethic. Keep your work. That consistency will protect your mind from being pulled in all directions. Focus also means deciding what not to do. Don't waste hours replaying conversations. Don't stalk people who didn't support you. Don't argue with people who misunderstand you. Don't search for closure in places where you'll only find more confusion. Not every battle deserves your attention. Not every insult needs a response. And GT, snorts and GT, some things need to be left alone so you can move on with strength and speak to yourself with clarity. When life is unfair, your inner voice needs to be stronger than your feelings. Tell yourself the truth. You are not powerless. You are not stuck. You are not done. You still have choices. You still have time. You still have purpose. That voice needs to be louder than the voice of disappointment. You may have to repeat that truth 100 times a day. That's okay. That's part of training your focus. You don't train focus by thinking it once. You train it by choosing it over and over. Every time you catch your thoughts drifting into bitterness and bring them back to discipline. You build mental strength, and that strength compounds over time. You become unshakable. You also need to stay away from the victim mindset. Yes, you were treated unfairly, but don't let that become your identity. You're not a victim. You're a fighter. You're a thinker. You're a builder. You're someone who rises in silence while others wait for sympathy. Don't collect pity. Build discipline. Use the unfairness as fuel, not as your story. One of the most powerful things you can do when life is unfair is to keep showing up. Keep giving your best. Keep following through. Not for others, for you. Because when you keep your head clear and your actions strong, you prove to yourself that nothing can break your focus. You prove that your standards don't change just because your situation does. Hold your focus even when you don't see results yet. Results are delayed. Recognition is delayed. Justice is delayed. But if your focus stays intact, your momentum keeps building. Most people lose because they pause too long in the pain. They park in the disappointment. They turn unfair moments into permanent stops. You're not going to do that. You're going to keep moving forward. You're going to take the lesson without letting it define you. It's okay to feel hurt. It's okay to cry. It's okay to take a break. But once you breathe, you get back to work. Focus is built in the return. Every time you return to your path, you get stronger. Every time you ignore the noise and choose action, you get sharper. Every time you think for yourself instead of reacting emotionally, you grow. Your mind is your responsibility. You don't give that responsibility to failure, to people, to chance. You take it back. You hold it and you shape it with intention. That's how you rise. That's how you move forward with clarity. That's how you hold your focus even when life doesn't play fair. Chapter 5. Train your mind to handle pressure. Pressure doesn't wait for permission. It shows up at work, at home, in your health, in your finances, in moments when you least expect it and feel least ready. It doesn't announce itself gently. It demands attention. And if your mind isn't trained, pressure will take the lead. It will guide your decisions. It will control your reactions. It will drain your energy. That's why you don't just wish for peace. You train your mind to stay steady when things get intense. Mental training is not a luxury for calm days. It's the preparation that keeps you clear when pressure comes knocking. Your brain reacts to pressure the way it reacts to danger. It speeds up. It becomes alert. It scans for threat that might have helped in survival situations long ago, but now it can make everyday stress feel like an emergency. Pressure is not always a crisis, but your mind may treat it like one. And if you don't interrupt that reaction, it will keep running on autopilot. So the first part of training your mind is understanding how it works under stress. The moment something feels high stakes, your focus narrows. You stop thinking long term. You stop seeing options. You think in extremes, success or failure, all or nothing. That's pressure talking, not clarity. You have to catch that shift early. Pause. Name what's happening. Say it clearly in your mind. This is pressure. This is not danger. I'm still in control. That one sentence can change your entire response. It pulls you out of panic mode and brings you back to awareness. Training also means exposing your mind to discomfort before it becomes overwhelming. Most people avoid stress until it crashes over them. But pressure becomes easier to handle when you practice handling small amounts regularly. Start by doing things that make you a little uncomfortable on purpose. Wake up earlier than you feel like. Speak when you'd rather stay quiet. Push through a task even when you're tired. These moments teach your mind that discomfort doesn't mean stop. It means keep going with intention. A trained mind doesn't fear discomfort. It knows how to breathe through it. It knows how to stay calm even when feelings get loud. Breathing is one of the simplest tools you have. But most people ignore it. Under pressure, your breath gets shallow and that fuels anxiety. If you want to train your mind, start by training your breathing. Deep, slow control. It tells your body you're safe. And when your body feels safe, your thinking improves. Pressure often brings urgency, but not all urgency is useful. Untrained minds rush. They react without thinking. Trained minds pause. They choose their response. That pause, even just 5 seconds, gives your brain a chance to access logic instead of fear. It helps you respond with purpose instead of reacting from panic. That's mental strength. That's mental control. You also have to manage your inner language under pressure. Most people speak to themselves in a way that increases stress. They say things like, I can't handle this. I'm going to mess up. Or, this always happens to me. These phrases feel small, but they do real damage. They make pressure feel bigger than it is. You have to replace them with language that strengthens you. Say things like, I've handled worse. One step at a time, or I know what matters right now. These are not empty affirmations. They are commands to your brain. They give you direction when pressure tries to scatter your focus. Mental training is not about being perfect. It's about being prepared. You know pressure is coming. So you set up systems in advance. Create a simple routine that you follow no matter how you feel. That routine becomes your anchor when the pressure builds. Don't rely on motivation. Rely on structure. Motivation fades under pressure. Structure holds. Another key to training your mind is reflection. After you've gone through a hard moment, don't just move on. Sit down and ask, how did I handle that? What worked? Where did I lose control? What can I do better next time? This is where growth happens. Reflection turns every stressful moment into a training session. And the more you reflect, the more prepared you become for what's next. Pressure also challenges your priorities. It forces you to ask what actually matters right now. Untrained minds try to do everything at once. They drown in the details. Trained minds focus on what moves the needle. They ask, what's the most important thing I can do right now? That question brings clarity. It brings order to chaos. And it keeps your mind from burning out on things that don't really matter. Pressure doesn't care about your past. It only cares about what you do now. So, stop carrying your old mistakes into new moments. A trained mind knows how to move forward. It doesn't erase the past. It learns from it, and keeps building. That's mental maturity. To use what happened before to make smarter decisions now, not to replay it until it steals your present. Train your mind to expect resistance. Pressure tests your consistency. You will feel like quitting. You will feel uncertain. You will want comfort more than progress. A trained mind expects this. It doesn't get surprised. It pushes forward anyway. Discipline shows up when comfort disappears. That's how you build resilience. Not by avoiding pressure, but by continuing through it. There will be times when everything feels like too much. When your mind says you're not ready. That's the moment to practice focus. Bring your attention to the next task, not the next week, not the next problem, just the next step. This is how pressure becomes manageable. You shrink it by focusing only on what you can do right now. You don't train your mind once and forget it. This is daily work. Just like your body needs movement every day, your mind needs direction every day. Read something that sharpens your thinking. Write your goals down. Review your wins and your lessons. Strength is built through repetition. Pressure becomes less scary the more often you face it with clarity. You are capable of more than you think. But capability without training leads to collapse. Raw talent can't carry you through pressure. You need mental discipline. You need emotional control. You need practiced thinking. These things are not given. They are developed one choice at a time. You don't rise under pressure by chance. You rise because you prepared. You rise because you practiced when it wasn't urgent. You rise because you refused to let pressure become your identity. You faced it. You adjusted. You stayed grounded. You chose focus over fear. That's the result of training. That's the reward of mental effort. So the next time pressure builds, don't run from it. Step into it with a prepared mind. Trust what you've built. Use what you've learned. And remember, your mind is not made to collapse. It's made to grow under weight. You just have to give it the right training. And when you do, you won't just survive pressure. You'll lead through it. Chapter 6. Stay grounded when stress takes over. Stress doesn't always shout. Sometimes it builds slowly in the background, stacking moment by moment until you realize you haven't truly felt calm in days. You're doing everything right on the surface, working, responding, pushing through, but inside you feel scattered. Your thoughts move too fast. Your patience wears thin. Your body stays tense. You know you're not present. You know something feels off. This is the moment where grounding matters most. Staying grounded when stress takes over is not a motivational phrase. It's a practical need because when you lose your grounding, you lose your clarity, your peace, and your ability to respond with purpose. Stress changes how the mind works. It narrows your thinking. It makes small problems feel bigger. It pushes you into survival mode where everything feels urgent. You start reacting instead of choosing. You become quick to speak, slow to reflect, and often harsh toward yourself. This isn't because you're weak. It's because you're human. Your nervous system is trying to protect you, but without awareness, it can keep you trapped in a cycle of tension. Grounding begins by bringing yourself back to the present moment. That's not a cliché. It's a reset. Stress pulls you into the future where your mind races through what ifs, or it drags you into the past where you replay regrets, but grounding pulls you into what you can feel, see, and do right now. Look around. Notice your environment. Feel your feet on the floor. Notice the pace of your breath. These are not spiritual tricks. They're biological strategies to calm a mind under pressure. When stress takes over, your internal dialogue usually gets louder and more negative. You start telling yourself that you can't handle this, that you're falling behind, that you're letting people down. This mental noise amplifies the stress. Grounding requires you to break that loop. You do that by interrupting the thought pattern with a question. What's real right now? Not what might happen. Not what could go wrong. Just what's real. That one question brings you back to facts instead of fears. You don't need a perfect plan to stay grounded. You need small, repeatable actions. Begin by checking in with your body. Ask yourself, am I breathing slowly? Is my jaw relaxed? Are my shoulders tight? Physical tension feeds mental pressure. Relaxing your body isn't optional during stress. It's a tool to help you think clearly. Even a short pause to stretch or stand in silence can return you to balance. Boundaries are another form of grounding. When stress builds, people often say yes to everything. They keep pushing past their limits to avoid disappointing others. But the more you abandon your boundaries, the more unstable you feel inside. You can't stay grounded if you're stretched too thin. Say no when you need to delay what can wait. Protect your peace like it's your responsibility, because it is. Noise feeds stress. So does clutter. So does too much input. Turn off what isn't helping you. Unplug for an hour. Clean a small space. Turn down the background noise. Give your brain room to slow down. In a world that constantly demands your attention, pulling back is a powerful act of grounding. When everything feels like too much, break your day into smaller parts. Don't try to solve the whole problem. Don't try to finish everything at once. Choose one task, do it well, then move to the next. Stress makes you think you need to fix your entire life in one moment. You don't. You just need to do what's in front of you with full attention. Your breathing patterns are mirrors of your inner state. Under stress, most people breathe quickly and shallow. This signals your body to stay on high alert. Slow breathing tells your system that it's safe to calm down. Grounding starts here. Inhale slowly. Hold for a few seconds. Exhale fully. This is one of the simplest ways to take control back from stress. Routines create mental safety. When stress is high, you need consistency more than excitement. Stick to simple daily rhythms. Wake at the same time. Eat at regular intervals. Take short walks. Get sunlight. These ordinary actions stabilize your nervous system. Don't wait to feel motivated. Let the routine carry you when stress clouds your motivation. Emotional stress often comes with mental clutter. So, write it down. Don't try to hold everything in your head. Get it on paper. Organize your thoughts. List your worries. Then, sort them into what you can control and what you can't. You'll realize that much of your anxiety is tied to things you can't change. Grounding helps you return to the part you can influence your response. Talk to someone who brings you back to your values, not someone who adds fuel to your strength. Choose someone who listens without panic. Someone who helps you remember who you are. Sometimes staying grounded means borrowing strength from people who see clearly when you can't. You don't need advice every time. You need connection. Food, water, and rest are often ignored when stress takes over. But your brain can't stay grounded if your body is depleted. Hunger sharpens irritability. Dehydration increases fatigue. Lack of sleep multiplies stress. These basics are not just health tips. They are your foundation for clear thinking. Protect them, especially when you feel overwhelmed. Don't chase control in every direction. When life gets messy, the instinct is to manage every detail, but control isn't grounding. Focus. Choose where your effort goes. Don't scatter your energy across things that don't truly matter. Grounding means accepting what's outside your reach and giving your full presence to what's within it. Spending time alone isn't withdrawal. It's recovery. When your thoughts feel too loud, create space for silence. No phone, no distractions, just you, your breath, and your attention. This is where you learn to center yourself again. You don't need to solve everything in silence. You just need to come back to your awareness. When you feel like you're slipping, don't judge it. Don't call yourself weak. That only increases the weight you're already carrying. Talk to yourself the way you'd speak to a close friend. With honesty, but also patience. Say things like, "This moment is tough, but I'm still here. This feeling is intense, but it won't last." Grounding doesn't mean escaping emotion. It means not drowning in it. You can stay grounded by revisiting what you believe in. Stress can shake your confidence. Go back to your core values. Why are you doing what you're doing? What kind of person do you want to be in this situation? These are not abstract questions. They're stabilizers. They help you return to your principles when everything else feels shaky. Staying grounded is not about having all the answers. It's about staying connected to your inner stability when everything around you feels unstable. You won't feel calm every moment, but you can be steady. That's the difference. Grounding doesn't make stress disappear. It gives you the tools to move through it without losing yourself. This is not something you master in one day. It's something you practice in small ways. Every time life pulls you off center and each time you bring yourself back, whether through breath, silence, structure, or clarity, you become stronger. You become more rooted, and no matter what the world throws at you, you'll be able to return to who you are. That's the power of staying grounded when stress takes over. Chapter 7. Regain mental control during hard moments. Hard moments have a way of stealing your attention fast. One situation, one comment, one unexpected change and suddenly your mind is no longer under your control. Your chest tightens. Your thoughts scatter. You lose focus on what matters and start reacting to everything around you. That's what makes regaining mental control so important. Because when life applies pressure, your ability to pause, reset, and think clearly becomes your greatest tool for progress and peace. In those moments, you don't need perfect answers. You don't need instant solutions. What you need is to slow the mental spin. Most people wait too long to do this. They let their emotions run the show. They get caught up in overthinking worst-case scenarios and blaming themselves or others. That's how problems grow bigger. Not because of the event itself, but because the mind loses direction in response to it. Regaining control begins with awareness. You have to notice when your thoughts start to spiral. That awareness alone puts you back in the driver's seat. As soon as you say to yourself, "I'm starting to lose control," you've already taken the first step toward gaining it back. You're separating yourself from the storm, instead of being pulled into it. In those first few minutes after something hard hits, your body will respond before your mind does. You'll feel tension, restlessness, heat in your chest, a racing heart. That's not weakness. It's your nervous system alerting you that something feels unsafe. You have to meet that signal with something steady. The simplest way is to stop what you're doing and breathe slowly and intentionally. Inhale through your nose. Hold it. Exhale through your mouth. This sounds basic, but it's not a trick. It's science. It's how you calm your system and tell your brain you're not in danger, even if the situation feels difficult. Once the body begins to settle, you can turn your attention back to your thoughts. And here's what's important. Don't try to fix every thought. That's a trap. You can't think your way out of every problem in one sitting. What you can do is decide which thoughts deserve your focus right now. Not every thought is helpful. Not every thought is accurate. The goal isn't to stop thinking. It's to think with purpose. Choose one question that brings your mind back to center. Something like what matters most right now. Or what's one thing I can handle today? Or even how do I want to show up in this moment? These questions stop your brain from running in circles. They bring direction. They pull you out of emotional chaos and into deliberate thinking. You also need to resist the urge to explain the hard moment too quickly. When something uncomfortable happens, your mind wants to assign meaning right away. You'll hear thoughts like "this always happens to me," or "I'm not good enough," or "people don't care." But most of those stories are built on fear, not truth. Instead of rushing to conclusions, sit with the facts. What actually happened? What did you feel? What's in your control? This shift from emotional storytelling to clear observation is what brings mental strength. Regaining mental control also means being willing to zoom out. In a hard moment, your focus gets narrow. You obsess over one thing: the mistake, the problem, the emotion. But when you step back and see the bigger picture, you realize this moment isn't your whole life. It's one piece, one chapter, one challenge. That wider view helps you take pressure off yourself. It helps you think clearly again. Structure is another tool you can rely on. When your mind feels messy, your environment needs to be simple. Go back to your routine. Clean your space. Make a small to-do list. Handle one thing at a time. This creates order where your brain is feeling chaos. You don't have to fix everything right now. You just need to regain your sense of direction. Control also comes from what you consume. In difficult moments, avoid pouring more stress into your system. Stay off social media if it increases your anxiety. Avoid conversations that drain you or pull you deeper into confusion. Replace that noise with something grounding. Listen to a calming voice. Read something truthful. Walk in silence. Give your mind better material to work with. You are responsible for what you feed your thoughts. Garbage in, chaos out, clarity in, focus out. Your mental state isn't just a reaction. It's a reflection of what you've been thinking and doing all day. You can't regain control if you keep pouring stress into your own head. Choose better inputs and speak to yourself like someone worth supporting. Harsh self-talk doesn't create focus, it creates fear. If your thoughts are filled with blame, shame, or insult, you're sabotaging your recovery. Instead, tell yourself, "I'm having a hard moment, but I can handle this." Or, "This feels heavy, but I've felt this before and kept going." Speak in a way that builds belief. Belief brings back control. People think control means suppressing emotions. It doesn't. It means giving your emotions space without letting them take over the entire room. Let yourself feel without letting the feeling decide your next move. You can be upset and still act with reason. You can be scared and still take the next step. That's what control really is. Not silence, but leadership of your own mind. There's value in writing, too. When your head feels too full, get the thoughts out. Write without editing. Let the page carry what your mind doesn't need to hold right now. Sometimes clarity doesn't come from thinking more. It comes from releasing the clutter. And remember, regaining control doesn't always feel good right away. You might still feel overwhelmed even as you do the right thing. That's normal. The feelings don't vanish instantly, but your actions are leading them. Your decisions are guiding them. Control is often quiet. It's not dramatic. It's not exciting. It's steady. It's slow. It's calm in the middle of everything loud. Don't wait for someone else to calm you. Don't wait for the situation to improve before you get your head straight. The moment is yours to lead. Even if it's unfair, even if it hurts, even if you didn't cause it, your response still belongs to you. That's where your power is. Not in what happened, but in what you choose now. Every time you bring your mind back from the edge, you teach yourself that you are not fragile. You remind yourself that emotions don't have to take over. You show yourself that no matter how hard the moment is, your inner strength is harder. You're not perfect. You're not expected to be, but you are capable of leading yourself through difficulty. You are capable of regaining your focus, and that capability changes everything. Hard moments will visit again. That's life. But next time they do, you'll be ready. You'll have the awareness, the tools, the discipline, the mindset. You'll remember that no matter what breaks down outside, what stays together inside is what matters most. That's what regaining mental control looks like. That's how you stay strong. Chapter 8. Protect your mindset during emotional storms. There are days when emotions rise fast and hit hard. A single moment can change your state. A harsh word, unexpected news, a disappointment that sinks deep. These emotional storms come without warning. And when they do, they demand your attention. Your thoughts race. Your body tenses. Everything feels personal. And if you're not careful, your mindset starts slipping without you realizing. That's when it becomes urgent. Not to fix the world around you, but to protect the mindset within you. The mind during an emotional storm is vulnerable, not weak. Vulnerable. It becomes open to assumptions, stories, and reactions that don't serve you. That's why protecting your mindset isn't something you try later. It's something you prepare for now. You build habits and awareness that help you stay centered even when your emotions try to pull you off balance. Start by knowing your patterns. Everyone reacts differently under emotional pressure. Some people shut down, others lash out, some go silent, some overthink every word. You need to know what your mind tends to do when emotion takes over. You can't protect what you haven't learned to observe. Pay attention to how your thoughts shift during stress, how your inner voice changes tone, how your reactions quicken, how your confidence lowers. That awareness alone can create enough space to pause and respond rather than react. When emotion floods the system, your first job is to lower intensity, not to argue with the feeling, not to bury it, but to slow the wave so you can think again. One of the simplest ways to do this is to bring your focus to the body. Emotional energy doesn't just live in the head. It spreads through your muscles, your heartbeat, your breath. So slow the breath, relax the jaw, drop your shoulders. These signals bring your nervous system out of threat mode and into stability. You can't think clearly until the body calms down. After that, shift your environment. Not permanently, just enough to create space between the trigger and your reaction. Leave the room. Step outside. Take a brief walk. This isn't escape. This is grounding. You're giving your mind a chance to reset, not spiral. Now you have to deal with the storm inside the thoughts. Emotional storms bring emotional thinking. That's when you start assuming people meant to hurt you, that your future is now ruined, that nothing ever works out. These thoughts feel true in the moment, but they aren't facts. They're emotional responses. And if you treat them as truth, you build your mindset on fear instead of logic. So instead of arguing with every thought, ask yourself one question. What else could be true right now? That question shifts the frame. It opens your thinking again. It creates options. You won't feel like doing this in the moment, but that's the test. Protection only matters when something is trying to break through. So when your emotions scream, you hold your mind steady. You don't push the feelings away, but you don't let them drive your behavior either. Let the emotions move through, but stay grounded in your values. Choose your next word, your next action, your next thought with care. Protecting your mindset also means protecting your input. During emotional storms, people tend to reach for distractions, scrolling, noise, venting, impulsive reactions, but not all distractions help. Some make things worse. Avoid flooding your mind with contempt that reinforces your anger, sadness, or fear. Don't chase validation in places that feed confusion. Instead, choose silence. Choose clarity. Choose stillness over stimulation. It might feel empty at first, but that stillness gives you space to process honestly. Don't fight the need to feel. Let the emotion exist without judgment. Say it to yourself clearly. I'm feeling hurt. I'm feeling overwhelmed. I'm feeling rejected. Naming the emotion disarms it. It reduces its power to control your actions. You're not pretending everything's okay. You're acknowledging reality, but you're refusing to let it take the lead. Your mindset is shaped by how you interpret emotional moments. If you take everything personally, you stay reactive. If you assume the worst, you shrink your options. If you believe your feelings are permanent, you act like this moment defines you. That's how emotional storms damage the mind. Not because of how strong they are, but because of what you tell yourself while they're happening. You protect your mindset by watching your language, especially your self-talk. Speak like a steady guide. This is a hard moment, but I'm not powerless. I feel shaken, but I can think clearly again. I can move through this without losing who I am. Build routines that anchor you when emotion rises. You don't wait for a storm to figure out how to stay safe. You build safety before it hit. Practice habits that keep you mentally centered. Journaling your thoughts, reviewing your day, exercising regularly, setting boundaries around time and energy. These small daily actions strengthen your mindset so when a storm hits, you're not starting from zero. Some people make emotional storms worse by feeding them. They replay the situation. They tell the story again and again, each time adding more pain. They talk to people who stir more anger instead of peace. Protecting your mindset means knowing when to stop. Not everything needs to be reprocessed. Not every emotion needs a second life. Let it pass. Let it end. Not by ignoring it, but by not dragging it forward unnecessarily. There is power in not reacting. Power in not posting. Power in not replying to the message that made you angry. Power in waiting. Power in choosing silence. When noise is what your emotion wants, that pause is not weakness. It's leadership. You are leading your mind instead of following your feelings. That's real strength. And you need to remember emotions are not enemies. They are messages. But you get to decide how to respond to those messages. You don't have to obey every impulse. You don't have to treat every feeling like a fact. You can listen without surrendering. You can feel deeply and still act wisely. Emotional storms will come again. You can't avoid them, but you can prepare for them. You can protect the mindset that helps you navigate them. You can choose what stays in your head and what gets released. You can decide that peace matters more than temporary expression. You can grow strong enough to handle emotion without losing your direction. Protecting your mindset doesn't mean ignoring reality. It means choosing how to process it. It means slowing down when everything tells you to speed up. It means grounding yourself when the moment tries to shake you. It means knowing who you are even when your feelings try to tell you otherwise. You are not fragile. You are not ruled by emotion. You are not lost just because the moment feels loud. You are aware. You are steady. You are building the kind of mind that can weather the storm without falling apart. And every time you protect that mindset, you create a future built on clarity, not chaos. That's the work, and it's worth doing every single time. Chapter 9. Keep your head clear under stress. Stress doesn't always look the same. Sometimes it's loud and obvious, deadlines, conflict, pressure to perform, but other times it's quiet. It sits beneath the surface, building up slowly through constant demands, emotional tension, and decisions that keep piling up. And when stress takes hold, it doesn't just affect your body, it affects your clarity. It clouds your thinking. It pushes you into overreaction, overthinking, and overwhelm. That's why learning how to keep your head clear under stress is not just helpful. It's essential. Clarity during stress is not something that happens by accident. It's something you build. It starts with understanding how stress works on the mind. When pressure rises, your brain naturally shifts into survival mode. You stop thinking long term. Your ability to process information narrows. You focus only on threats. That response helped early humans survive danger. But in modern life, that same instinct often works against you. It can make small challenges feel like crisis. It can cause you to misjudge situations and lose control of your reactions. The first step to staying clear under stress is slowing your inner speed. Stress makes everything inside you feel urgent. Your mind races, your breath shortens. You feel like something needs to be done right now. But that urgency often leads to impulsive choices and mental noise. So you train yourself to slow down, not physically but mentally. You pause before replying. You wait 5 seconds before responding. You take a few calm breaths before making a decision. That moment of stillness doesn't remove the stress, but it gives you space. And in that space, you reclaim control. Clarity also comes from choosing what deserves your attention. When you're under pressure, everything feels important, but not everything is. If you don't choose where to place your focus, your mind will try to fix everything at once and end up solving nothing. So, you have to narrow it down. Ask yourself one question. What needs my energy right now? Not later, not tomorrow, right now. That single question cuts through mental clutter and helps you see what actually matters. You also need to reduce your mental input during stressful periods. The mind is already overloaded when under pressure. Extra information adds confusion. You don't need to check every update. You don't need to scroll through opinions. You don't need 5 people's advice on a single decision. The more noise you consume, the harder it becomes to think clearly. Protect your focus by setting boundaries around what enters your mind. Less input means more clarity. One of the biggest traps under stress is trying to control everything. It feels safer to micromanage, to overthink, to plan every detail. But control is not the same as clarity. In fact, the more you try to control every outcome, the more stress you create. Clear thinking means being honest about what's within your influence and what's not. Make peace with uncertainty. Accept that not all variables can be handled at on. Then direct your effort only to the parts of the situation that are yours to lead. Staying clear also means being direct with your emotions. Stress isn't just mental, it's emotional. And when emotions are ignored, they get louder. You don't have to suppress what you feel. You have to understand it. Ask yourself, what exactly am I feeling right now? Not just, I'm stressed. Be specific. I feel overwhelmed. I feel unprepared. I feel pressure to meet expectations. Naming emotions gives you power over them. You stop being consumed by a vague feeling and start addressing what's actually going on. Movement helps too. Not intense workouts, just movement. Go for a walk. Stretch your body. Change your physical state. It breaks the mental loop. The mind and body are connected. If your thoughts are stuck, your body can help release that tension. Don't wait until you're emotionally flooded. Build this into your day early before stress peaks. Another key part of staying clear is simplifying decision. Under stress, the brain wants certainty. But life often gives you complexity. So instead of overanalyzing, you make things simpler. Break big problems into small ones. Take one step instead of planning 10. Make the next decision, not the final one. Progress comes from clarity, not complexity. When things feel too big, it's a sign you need to zoom in, not out. Rest is a strategy, not a weakness. When people feel stressed, they often try to power through. They sacrifice sleep, skip breaks, ignore fatigue. But a tired brain doesn't think clearly. A tired brain misinterprets signals and makes emotional decisions. If you want to keep your head clear, you have to give it time to recover. That means honoring your rest, not escaping through distraction, but choosing real recovery. Even 10 minutes of quiet, intentional pause can reset your mental state. Clear thinking also requires routine. Stress thrives in chaos, but routine brings order. It creates a structure that your mind can rely on when everything else feels uncertain. It might be as simple as starting your day the same way or ending your night with a short reflection. These small rituals train your brain to stay anchored even when the world feels unstable. Practice speaking clearly to yourself. During stress, your inner voice can become chaotic. You might say things like, "This is too much. I can't do this," or, Everything's going wrong. That kind of language adds fog to your thinking. Choose clarity instead. Talk to yourself the way you would to someone you care about. I'm under pressure, but I know what to do next. This is tough, but I've handled pressure before. I'm allowed to slow down and think this through. This isn't false positivity. It's useful steady thinking. Keep your standards when you're under stress. Many people drop their routines, values, and discipline when life gets intense, but that's when those things matter most. Don't throw away what grounds you. Stick to your system. Stay close to what brings you back to your best mindset. Even small consistencies can bring clarity in a chaotic day. And most importantly, trust your training. If you've been working on your focus, your patience, your awareness, then trust those tools when stress hits. Don't second-guess everything just because emotions are high. Let your preparation carry you. Stress tests what you've built. It doesn't erase it. When you feel pressure, that's the time to apply what you've been practicing all along. You don't need to remove stress to think clearly. You need to understand how to lead your mind through it. You need to guide your thoughts instead of following your fears. You need to pause when everything tells you to rush. You need to listen more than you react. That's how you stay clear. That's how you stay steady. That's how you make decisions you can be proud of. Even when the moment feels overwhelming, clarity under stress is not a gift. It's a skill, and the more you train it, the more you'll trust it. Not just in calm seasons, but in the middle of your most difficult days. That's when it matters most. That's when it shows up, and that's when it changes everything. Chapter 10. Strengthen your mindset for tough situations. Tough situations are part of life. They show up whether you're ready or not. They don't ask for permission. They don't wait until you feel strong. They arrive on a normal day through a sudden change, a painful loss, a major challenge, or a long stretch of uncertainty. And in those moments, it's not just your environment that's tested. It's your mindset. What you've built inside will determine how you respond, how you think, and how you move forward. Strengthening your mindset for tough situations means preparing your thoughts to be steady even when nothing else feels secure. A strong mindset doesn't remove pain or difficulty, but it gives you the ability to think clearly, act deliberately, and stay grounded through discomfort. It helps you respond rather than break. And the truth is, this strength doesn't show up automatically. It's trained. It's shaped through repeated action, clear values, and daily habits. You don't wait for hard times to decide how to think. You build a mindset ahead of time that you can trust when things go wrong. You start by understanding that strength is built through friction. The very moments you try to avoid are the same moments that grow you. This doesn't mean you enjoy pain. It means you no longer run from growth. You meet it. You face it. You use it. When life becomes heavy, your mindset doesn't need to solve everything. It just needs to hold. It needs to stay stable long enough for you to keep moving one small step at a time. The first way to strengthen your mindset is to stop avoiding discomfort. You don't train strength by staying in ease. You train it by stepping into challenge willingly. Do hard things daily even when they're small. Wake up when you said you would. Finish tasks even when you're tired. Have the uncomfortable conversation. Follow through on what you promised. These things may seem ordinary, but they're powerful. Every time you act with discipline instead of emotion, you train your mind to lead under pressure. Resilience grows in moments when it would be easier to quit. When your mind says, "This is too much," and you respond with, "I'll keep going anyway," you send a message to your entire system that you are capable of more than you feel. These messages matter. They build confidence rooted in effort, not outcome. Perspective is a mental tool that keeps you strong in tough moments. When things feel out of control, remind yourself this isn't forever. This isn't the full story. It's a page, a chapter, a moment, not the whole book. People weaken their mindset by imagining that their current hardship defines everything. You strengthen your mindset by placing struggle in its proper place. You remind yourself that life moves. Emotions change. Clarity returns. Pain fades. What you're facing isn't the end. It's an opening to something new, something better, something learned. You also need a clear why. A strong mindset without purpose is just pressure. Purpose gives pain meaning. It gives sacrifice direction. You need to remind yourself why you're choosing to stay committed even when quitting would feel easier. Is it your values, your family, your vision, your identity? These are not motivational words. They are anchors. They keep you stable when doubt tries to shake you. Tough situations will always challenge your emotions. That's natural, but strength means choosing your response anyway. You can feel tired and still act with clarity. You can feel fear and still speak with courage. You can feel unsure and still take a step forward. Strength is not the absence of struggle. It's your ability to think and act with purpose while struggle is still present. The way you speak to yourself is part of your mental strength. When things get hard, most people start to talk themselves down. They call themselves failures. They repeat mistakes. They carry shame. This inner dialogue matters more than people think. If you don't speak to yourself with clarity and self-respect, you lose trust in yourself. You need to hear your own steady voice in the middle of the chaos. Tell yourself, I'm not broken. I'm learning. I'm not behind. I'm building. I'm not giving up. I'm adapting. A strong mindset isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet. It's the decision to be calm in conflict. It's the patience to wait instead of rushing into bad choices. It's the focus to stay on track when you feel scattered. It's the ability to keep your word even when the circumstances change. These moments are not dramatic, but they define your strength. Another part of building a strong mindset is learning to reset quickly. You will make mistakes. You will lose your way. Sometimes that's part of the process. But the key is to shorten the time you stay down. Strong people don't avoid failure. They recover faster. They don't waste time blaming others or punishing themselves. They ask, what now? They reflect, adjust, and move forward. Build habits that support your strength. Daily structure helps your mind stay grounded. Morning routines, reflection at night, clear goals, time away from distraction. These are not small habits. They are mental reinforcements. You don't wait to feel strong to use them. You use them to become strong. Surround yourself with people who reinforce your mindset, not those who drain it. In tough moments, the wrong voices can shake your stability. Be around people who speak with intention. People who don't panic when you struggle. People who remind you of your strength instead of feeding your fear. You don't need a crowd. You need clarity. Your strength also grows when you learn how to say no. Not every opportunity, conversation, or emotion deserves your time. Protect your energy. Protect your focus. Choose where your attention goes. Mental strength is not just about what you push through. It's about what you protect. Your peace, your focus, your direction, and never confuse being hardened with being strong. Some people build walls instead of strength. They shut down emotionally. They stop trusting. They stop feeling. That's not power. That's fear. True strength is open. It feels deeply but remains grounded. It sees clearly but doesn't turn bitter. It's firm but still kind. That balance is rare but it can be developed. You strengthen your mindset by being consistent, not perfect. Show up on the bad days. Do the small things when motivation is gone. Keep your promises when no one is watching. Every one of those moments becomes part of your foundation. And when the next storm hits, you won't be guessing who you are. You'll know because you trained for it. Tough situations are not here to destroy you. They are here to reveal what you've built. And if what you've built isn't ready yet, then now is the time to begin. Every decision, every response, every day of disciplined effort becomes part of the mindset you carry. It doesn't have to be dramatic, just real, just honest, just steady. You don't have to feel strong to act with strength. You just have to make the next right choice and then the next and the next. Over time, you'll become someone who doesn't just survive tough situations. You'll grow from them. You'll lead yourself through them. And you'll come out the other side with something no one can take from you. A mindset that's been tested, built, and proven. One that holds firm even when life